Welcome to the Carousel, where we discuss video games, movies, sometimes comic books, and generally whatever awful things those conversations lead to. I am John MusiM. With me I also have Randy.
Hello, John.
And I have Jake.
Did someone kill your dog, dude? You sounded really bummed all of a sudden. You sounded fine. Then we went live and you're like, fuck.
And at 2 p.m. on Wednesday, August 21st, July 20... What month is this?
You lost 20... It's over.
Okay, I give up. All my dogs are dead. It's really
You
bad.
blew it.
I don't
And you went. And that's the thing. You were so jovial until we turned on the camera.
It was a meteor strike.
Wow, he's guy's really looking for sympathy. Speaking of Twitch, I've been watching a lot of it lately, and I've decided that birthday stream is got to be the saddest title there is. Because it's like, it's my birthday. I'm home playing video games with the internet. Oh.
Well, when you said birthday stream, I'm like, are you talking about that Donald Trump video that the Russians
Yep.
got? But then you went
Right.
into video games, and I'm like, well, I guess I'm lost now. But
He just had his birthday. Dude's 70.
The truth will out. Speaking of the truth, I'm full of shit for multiple reasons this week.
Okay.
There was one screw-up of mine in the last episode, and there was another screw-up in the E3 special we did. First thing is, it wasn't Christian Slater in Friday the 13th, it was Corey Feldman.
oh, yeah.
That's, you know what? That's fine.
And then the other thing is, I was joking about E3 being a week, and like it's a holy week for us, and I was like, yeah, it's like Ramadan. Actually, Ramadan's a fucking month, not a week. I'm an asshole. Sorry.
Also, maybe just don't go there.
It was in. If you had listened to the show, Randy,
It was totally in context and great.
it worked. It worked.
Okay.
I wasn't like, and then this fucking week. Like, no, it's not. That's not how it was at all.
What is a week? Hanukkah's about a week.
A miserable pile of secrets. Not Hanukkah specifically. He said, "What is a week? What's coming out, Randy?"
Oh, jeez. You're just going to throw to me after that, huh?
Speaking of Hanukkah, no, I'm gonna shut up. I don't know where any of this is going.
All right. All platforms on the 23rd. That's tomorrow. We got a game called Get Even.
Yeah, this one kind of snuck up on me. Did you guys see anything on this?
Nope.
I've not heard of it.
It didn't look like it was doing great on Metacritic, but it was a Bandai Namco deal where it's like a first-person shooter set in. Stop me if you've heard this one. An abandoned insane asylum. But it actually kind of looks a lot like Condemned. Remember Condemned from the 360? It was like one of
the melee hobo fighting game.
This one looks like it has less melee, less hobo fighting, but a lot of all the cool like detective stuff that they had you do in that.
Detective stuff.
Yeah, like you got a UV light and a thermal cam, and it's cool. It's cool. I only saw the first probably 15 minutes of it, so I don't know how the combat is, but it's something I'm going to keep an eye on. Combat. I'm from Chicago.
Okay. Anything else on that?
It's literally everything I know.
Yeah. All right. Okay. 27th. That's Tuesday. Diablo 3: Rise of the Necromancer, also on all platforms. I guess that's just some DLC. John was looking at it earlier, or Jake, sorry, was looking at it earlier, and he said it looks like it's just the character that you get.
Kind of. They are saying you get other stuff here. Here's the list of what the extra stuff you get for your $15 American. The Rise of Necromancer pack includes additional exclusive digital items, a non-combat pet, a pair of cosmetic wings, a Necromancer-themed banner shape, sigil, and accent, a Necromancer portrait frame, a pennant, 2 additional character slots, which I guess, okay, the character slots are good, and 2 additional stash tabs, which will not be available on console. That's awesome. I didn't notice that little footnote.
Okay.
And then there's some new zones, but those are just coming as part of a patch, so you don't have to pay for those. So you're getting the Necromancer.
All right. Well, also coming out that day, Elite: Dangerous. Everything, maybe iOS?
It said iPhone and iPad. Isn't that game supposed to be like a really simmy flight space sim thing?
Maybe it's going to be using the accelerometers and stuff.
I'm confused. I thought this was already out for Xbox. It is already out for PC.
But is this like an official?
I know it's coming to PS4. Like, this is a space fighting, like, Go Place, and like it's like a
Go Place.
it's like Eve Light if Eve were fun and an engaging experience, other than reading cool articles about really bored people.
Really bored people losing life savings before their eyes.
I've heard really positive things about Elite Dangerous. I've heard it's a super fun game. I've heard the space dogfighting in it's a lot of fun. I've heard like the aliens showing up in it is fairly amazing, and I've heard the game is just like completely filled with a massive amount of content. Like
before we started, I was lamenting the loss of a great space dogfighting game that we used to play. I don't know. Maybe I'll check it out.
So here's what I think may have happened when I looked this up. I put these lists together and I go off of Metacritic, and I basically pull up each individual, console or platform rather, and then when I pull up the titles that I think are going to be relevant, I'll open it up and it'll say also on ... So in this case, maybe I pulled up the PS4 one because that's when it's releasing, and it like already gave me stuff that it was already released for.
Yeah, I just Googled it, and PS4 is what it releases for on June 27th. It has not been on a Sony platform before.
Okay.
But, like, I mean, Tiltcast and Bamfcast love this fucking game. And I've had friends tell me nothing but that I would absolutely love it. They release free updates and content all the time, and I just have never... Like, it honestly sounds like such a large game that I'm afraid of the commitment at this point. Of like the unending commitment, but
I'm sure your wife's real happy about that.
I regret it every day for no, that's not true. That's not true. I love you, Susie. I'm sorry if you're watching.
Okay, all right, coming out on the 30th. The Crash Bandicoot.
Sorry, one more thing about that.
Oh.
I'm forever confusing all these space games with each other. What's the game where they have like the $200,000 ship you can buy, like real money $200,000 ship?
That's Eve.
Yeah.
Oh no, you're talking about you're not talking about Eve. You're talking about the
Kickstarting game that's got like $16 million.
Is that Star Citizen?
Star Citizen. Okay, all right.
Yeah. The game that'll never come out. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm forever confusing all those. Okay, I'm sorry. Carry on, Reddy.
Yeah, Crash Bandicoot N.SANE trilogy coming out on the PS4, of course, on the 30th. Is this new stuff, or are they just like packaging up the old stuff?
Prettier.
It's the old stuff.
But like maybe with some graphics bumps or something like that.
Yeah, I think they remade them to an extent, like made them easier, kind of thing.
All right.
Made them easier? Like made the game's difficulty lower?
Yeah.
Huh. Why would they? I don't remember that being an especially hard game, was it?
Oh, it sounded like it was. I don't know. Those games never looked like games I wanted to play, so I've never played them.
I assure you they were not.
I don't.
It was like old school kind of Temple Run style platforming, right?
Yeah, it's okay. So
okay.
Here's the thing: is you play Crash Bandicoot in Uncharted 4 very briefly. It's a really weird. Like you're
That's
Nathan
not a
Drake.
joke.
Playing Crash Bandicoot. Like, it actually happens. It's really weird.
Okay. All
right. In my experience with it, he runs at the screen while collecting, like, rings or something like that. So I really wasn't, I don't know. I
think it was fruit. Some sort of weird papaya mango thing.
You're mixing your platforming animals.
But what I got out of it is I don't ever want to actually play one of these games.
Corporate video game mascots.
But, like... The stupid commercials with him holding a sign outside Nintendo or whatever, like, those are kind of funny.
I don't know if those will hold up. I need to go back and watch them, but yeah, I remember those being pretty good.
Man. Homework. Everybody go check these out on YouTube.
It's no fucking, Terry Tate, like, Terry Tate's immortal, but, like, the office linebacker, but, because those commercials you can watch and genuinely laugh, but I think the Crash Bandicoot commercials are just like, that's kind of funny that they actually were fucking assholes enough to do something like that.
Oh yeah, they've never been
to
anything
go stand
like
in front of a building.
Well, just the commercial in general. They paid money to say, but then again, that was kind of the video games back then, right? Like
That was totally
before
the
then. It
console
was
real
Genesis.
back in the day.
Genesis does what Nintendo don't.
Right. Yeah. And I will say that Nintendo always just sort of stayed out of it. Like they never went that way, right? In their advertising, they just kept doing their own thing.
Yeah.
Well, there was that for the first Smash Brothers. There was that commercial of all the guys in the costumes just beating the hell out of each other in a park.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's about as mean as they got, I think.
Well, but it was their own characters, though. It's not like they brought in Crash Bandicoot and Sonic. I do remember that commercial, though.
Yeah, they were fucking violent, man. Like,
That's
they
one
were
of my
beating
favorite
each
games of all time. Smash on 64. Oh my god. Okay, we got to keep going. Coming out on TV, we've got a Castlevania.
Nope. You trying to get fired, Randy?
Coming out on TV streaming. Oh, Spider-Man is coming out on the 7th. My bad. I skipped one.
No one cares about Spider-Man. That is a completely unpopular character.
Spider-Man Homecoming.
I mean, no one.
Spitterman.
They made like 10 of those movies already.
Spitterman versus the Shocker.
Spider-Man
No, it's not
was-
even the Shocker. It's just Shocker, right?
No one talked about Spider-Man in the last Civil War movie.
So what we should do is take an over-under on the next Spider-Man reboot. When's that going to happen?
I give it 10 years.
Because they're going to make 2 or 3 of these, and then they're
When's
going
the
to
Han
reboot
Solo
it again.
movie out?
Probably 2019, 2020.
Saying like Han Solo, Spider-Man team-up movie?
I bet
Oh,
it'll be
shit.
18. Anyway.
A long time ago, in
I
a
wish-
flip far away.
I hate to be that guy. Like, I don't think Spider-Man Homecoming looks bad. I'm not excited about
It looks fine.
I love Spider-Man 1 and 2, the Sam Raimi movies. Amazing Spider-Man, I thought the non-lizard stuff was decent.
I didn't see the Andrew Garfield ones.
There were some points in or at least the first Andrew Garfield one, I've never seen the second, that I think had some promise, but unfortunately the movie wasn't really about those moments. But like I'm kind of just like he was really entertaining in Civil War. I'm
like,
not
is this
sure if I'm ready for the movie of it,
who put out the Andrew Garfield ones? Like, did they just drop him like a bad habit when they decided they were going to put it in the cinematic universe, or did they lose the rights, or what happened?
No, it's Sony's put out all of them. Sony has been the producers of all the Spider-Man movies.
Even this next one that's part of the
Yep.
the cinematic universe.
Yeah, like Marvel Studios was involved in making it this time.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Like no money exchanged hands. Like it's just Kevin Feige worked with them to ensure that
Okay.
it was up to their standards or whatever. And Sony said, "Yes, please put our movie in your universe because it's guaranteed somewhere between
make
a
$1
half
billion
a billion to
Yeah.
$1 billion."
Okay, so they really did. They just said, "See ya. Thanks for working on our films."
So
Okay.
here's what worries me about this, is that it seems like they're taking everything cool about Spider-Man and making that Tony Stark. Like, Tony Stark's coming up with all his tech shit. Tony
Yeah.
Stark's giving him all the money. Tony Stark's his dad. He's looking up to Tony Stark. Like, and trying to, what's
may
the
have
word
just
I'm looking for?
revealed the big
He's making him his idol.
Well,
From everything I'm seeing, and like, this is supposed to be a Spider-Man movie. What are you gonna do when Robert Downey Jr. just decides to quit making these fucking things?
okay, look,
Like, this was your chance.
I'm really
Been doing it for
questioning
10
your
years.
your powers of deduction right now, Jake, because they released. Like I watched the first 3 trailers, and I know the entire plot and plot beats of the movie. Like he loses the Tony Stark suit like halfway to 2/3 through, and then he's in his hobo suit, and then he has to beat what's his name in the hobo suit, or
Michael Keaton.
or like the other scenario is that he fights him in the hobo suit and does something right, and then Iron Man comes back and apologizes and gives him the new suit, or Iron Man comes back at the very end. Yeah, it doesn't fucking matter. Point
I'm
being
just saying, I don't
is
need-
the
I don't
Iron
need-
Man tech doesn't fucking like the only reason that suit was even made by Iron Man was so they could have his eyes do expressions on screen like Deadpool's.
Okay, so take the tech piece away from it. It looks like there's going to be a lot of Tony Stark in this movie, and I am not confident that that's going to work. That's all I'm saying.
I think
Are
it'll
you
be
over
fun.
Tony Stark?
Look, here's how this movie has to win me over. is it has to be more about him and his personal life in his high school and him being a loser while being Spider-Man than it does like him holding a ship together with webbing.
It seems like there's going to be a good bit of that. So
I hope so. If they do it, then I'm gonna be happy. Like, because to me, like, you know, it's your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, as they say in the fucking trailers. You know, it's like the good Spider-Man movie is about a smaller story that has a larger emotional arc, in like him saving like the neighborhood or maybe the city at the end. But like if they do this. Like, the Amazing Spider-Man's problem was the lizard wanted to turn the city into other lizards, and that was fucking stupid. And plus, the lizard CGI looked fucking... He was a Goomba from Mario. Like, he looked like the Goomba from the Mario movies. But
I think that, you know, when they said the Vulture was going to be the villain, I was like, the Vulture? Wow, okay. And then seeing Michael Keaton in that suit, I'm like,
Birdman.
Okay.
yeah.
Birdman is the Vulture, yeah.
Birdman, the movie about being cynical about superhero movies by the director who has verbally said he hates superhero movies and doesn't view them as art whatsoever. And
Birdman, Spider-Man, Homecoming, the movie. All right, well.
By the way, just Elite Dangerous, I know this is going back to a thing. I really wish those words were reversed, so you could have said dangerous elite. Like, I feel like
I mean, if you got an elite
there.
colon,
Dangerous
you gotta watch out for somebody with an elite colon, because they can do a lot of shit with that, man.
Or a dangerous...
Like, you can't trust them.
A dangerous colon.
What I'm saying is all elite colons are inherently dangerous because they're so good at what they do, and what
Mine's
they
turned
do
dangerous
isn't very
on me.
nice.
Yeah.
From time to time.
Your sphincter is basically Wolverine. That's all I'm saying.
All right.
It certainly doesn't have his heel factor.
Okay. Can I talk about the streaming stuff now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Please.
Castlevania on Netflix. I guess that's based on the old video game, right?
It is based on Castlevania 3.
Okay.
So
a specific one.
You're going to have the, what's his name, Dynasty? The
Dynasty.
pirate.
Grant Dynasty.
Yeah.
Dynasty.
You're going to have the Alucard. And who is it? Trevor Belmont? Is that the Belmont we're on Castlevania 3?
I literally just watched a retrospective on the entire history of all those games and what canonically takes place in which spot. I couldn't fucking tell you. I think it's Trevor.
Oh, okay.
All right, well.
There's a lot of fucking Belmonts, man. That's all I'm saying.
Could be good, could be bad. It's by the guy who produced the adult Power Rangers short thing and also did the Punisher short on YouTube.
It is going to be anime. So I'm going to have to fight to get through that, but I'm really hoping it's good enough that I can deal with anime bullshit.
Fingers crossed. I'm skeptical. Like, this guy has paid other people money.
I get it. Sorry.
Oh. This guy has paid other people money to make some really cool stuff. I'm skeptical of his own abilities, but I guess he was involved in those, like the Power Slash Ranger thing and the Clean Laundry Punisher short, so I don't know. Here's hoping he does Castlevania right. There's Warren Ellis involved, so hopefully that should at least get us some good adult humor here and there.
I don't know. I'm hoping they don't get too... I mean, Castlevania by its very nature is kind of up its own ass. It's elite colon, so to speak.
Yeah.
I hope that they can... I don't know. The story's never been a strong piece of those games for me, so I would be interested to see what they do with it. I'm certainly going to watch it. That's for sure.
I didn't realize it was out that soon, but...
I just thought it was a game about bashing bats and statues and shit.
Yeah, you do that too.
All right.
Fuck this
Wall chickens, yeah.
Fuck this irreplaceable art.
Yeah.
There might be meat in it.
I'm going to throw this cross and it's going to turn into a motherfucking tornado.
Everyone knows that Renaissance sculptors hid delicious steaks inside
Well,
their
no,
statues.
whoa, let's not get crazy.
And honestly,
we're talking poultry. These are birds.
Okay, well, you know.
There might have been
chicken
like a
thighs.
pork roast.
Yeah.
Maybe in there somewhere.
well, and
I'm a fan of chicken thighs.
after Symphony of the Night, the game became about playing with corpse balls to me, so...
Oh yeah, I forgot about that thing.
Oh, that
There was
thing was.
there was a Cthulhu monster in the basement of one of those floors, wasn't there? Except it looked nothing like Cthulhu. It was like walking around on two legs, like derp 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 derp.
I don't remember the name of anything in that game, so I don't know. But just talking about it makes me want to replay it because Symphony of the Night is the second greatest game ever made, right behind Chrono Trigger.
Okay,
I
high
don't,
praise.
I don't know. I'd go that far, but I can definitely see how you could make the argument.
All right.
So, you want to tell us about these games we can buy, John?
Oh, yeah, that's me, huh? So, Steam sale started today. Everyone already knows that Steam sale exists, so we kind of highlighted a few fan favorites, and it looks like I probably repeated one or two on the list, but whatever. Shadows of Murder for $4. That is JRR tokens, Shadow of Murder. I stole that pun from a game I got in the mail recently. I haven't played yet, but
Okay.
anyway. But that's I don't know. I feel like everyone's already heard about.
Well, it's $4. Like $4 for that game is an absolute no-brainer, and I'm considering getting it, even though I already played it and beat it on PS4, and I think I'm like 1 or 2 away from platinum on it. I went back to that game after I grabbed it, spent a big chunk of time with that game. I think it was the first game I bought on PS. It was the first game I bought on PS4 because I was so excited to do buy it online. We're going to do the Blizzard thing where we're just going to download the stuff you need for the beginning of the game right now. You can start playing. It's going to download the rest in the background. And I did that, and it was like, let's fucking go. And I was like, let's fucking go. And I killed like 2 orcs, and it was like, yo, we got to load the whole world. You can't do any of this shit. And I was really pissed. But anyway, so I spent a ton of time with that because it was the only game I had for the PS4 at the time. And then I went back to it later, and I feel like that frame rate is real bad. Like, it was kind of making me a little sick. You remember that?
I don't really remember having frame rate issues.
My point is, for $4 on the PC, even taking a gamble that that's going to go away might get me to play through that whole game again. So I might do it.
Did anyone else think it was fucked up that that game took shit for its intro? Like, I thought the intro to that game was super clever. Like, the sneak up behind your wife and give her a kiss thing, and that was you learning the stealth kill move, and it's like, come on, guys.
Oh my god, were people trying to say that was rapey?
Yeah. Yeah, they were.
Come on.
There were articles.
Fuck off.
There were
What's
articles
next?
about it.
Fuck off.
It was such a clever and inventive intro, and it just got fucking taken to trial for it. And it's like come on, guys.
Yeah, no one's ever snuck up for a little affection.
Like,
It's not like he
tied her up and had his way with her. He gave her.
and it's not like he snuck up on her and put it in her butt.
Yeah.
Like, she was happy to see him. Like, come on. Sometimes
So stupid.
sometimes the news cycle gets low in gaming, and people need to manufacture outrage. I'm not sure on that one, but yeah.
I don't know. That one bothered me a bunch.
Yeah,
like when they did that.
That one's dumb.
But
That
anyway.
was real stupid.
So, the entire Final Fantasy franchise is 50% off across the board.
Are you saying categorically? Because that is patently not true.
Really? Because Steam advertises it as 50% off.
Steam actually has a couple of funny advertisements up now. Like the, what was it, Ghost Recon? Was that the new Tom Clancy game? So like Ghost Recon franchise,
They've had a
0
few.
to 66% off. Like
Oh.
zero,
No
starting at 0.
percent off.
Yeah. Gotcha.
This can be purchased at full price immediately, right now from your home.
I mean, it's probably like all the Final Fantasies are 50% off except 15 or something like that.
Except all the MMO stuff. And there may be a little bit of variance, like 40 to 60, but the
maybe,
vast
like,
majority of them are 50%.
The cost to buy them all is 50% of what it would be, or something like that.
So, and you should, like, granted, I mean, you're spending $5 or $6, so to a large degree, who cares? But you might care, so you might Google how their PC ports are, because Square Enix is not always the best on those. Sometimes they're
Aren't some of them like they redid all the models in a weird way, like they're 3DS ports or something when they redid all the models? Aren't some of them like that?
Final Fantasy 3 would be a 3D, like a DS port. I don't think that was a 3DS game. I think that was a DS game.
I'm sorry. I
And then-
forgot that 3 didn't start on that console.
FF3 would have been from like the early 90s, wouldn't it?
Like a bunch of them will be PlayStation ports. Final Fantasy 3, yes and no. They remade it for DS.
Oh.
And that has been the version that's been going around.
A
And
remake on a Nintendo console?
I know. And Square remaking something like a Final Fantasy, they never do that. Anyway, so, and then Wolfenstein: The New Order for $10.
I heard good things about that.
It is the best. Randy, how have you not played this fucking game?
How would you compare it to Doom? Good?
I mean, it's not... go ahead, John.
I played 20 minutes of it, and it's kind of a stealth game. So
I like stealth games.
I wouldn't necessarily compare it to Doom. But
There's no stealth in Doom.
I don't know. The intro seemed like it might be
I don't mind
neat.
stealth. I've loved all like the Splinter Cell games, and I don't know, stealth's kind of my jam. So
It's a lot more like Dishonored in that you can start off trying to do stealth, and if you fuck it up and things go wrong, you have 2 miniguns. John, I doubt that you're far enough in to where you can really see what the game's going to end up doing. But that game does some wacky shit. Like, I'm trying to say, yeah, the game's a year and a half old. You go to the fucking moon, dude. There's a Nazi moon base.
Nice.
Moon Nazis?
Moon Nazis.
Well, I mean, the intro game, I'm in World War II and fighting mechs in World War II.
Is there
so
do the moon
Nazi
levels have
mechs.
1/6 gravity?
Yes, they absolutely do.
Excellent. That was always something I was disappointed with on Destiny, is you went to all these different planets, but they all had the same G. And
What
I was
it does
kinda-
when you're outside, I don't think that would probably not be fun in buildings. But yeah, this game was just everything they thought of was to make this game fun. And there's some crazy over-the-top stuff and a lot of really fun characters, and the combat is satisfying. There's this really cool, the way you get upgrades, because there's like RPG kind of upgrade systems in this, except you don't get experience points and then apply that to whatever you want. You have to do, like you would, in another game they would be achievements. But like, so you gotta get, you got these knives. And let's say the game says, all right, if you get 5 stealth kills by throwing knives at officers, which are kind of like, your security cameras, so to speak. If these guys get alerted, that's when the shit hits the fan. Kill 5 of these guys with a throwing knife, and then all of a sudden, like, I don't know, I'm making this up, but like, you can move 25% faster when you're crouched. So like, it's not a one-to-one thing, and it's really fun. It makes you play the game a lot of different ways.
Well,
And there's like 25 of them.
the 20 minutes I played, it seemed like the entire intro was set up for you to get like the first round of each thing. Like, because you would, like one of them was get a headshot with a rifle and get a headshot with a pistol kind of thing. And you got the rifle, got a headshot, you got the pistol, got a headshot, and then unlock this other thing that you could almost immediately do in the next scenario. And it was
That sounds
kinda
right.
the same way with the stealth stuff, where go sneak up behind an officer and kill him, and then you can do whatever this extra thing is. Or you get, I think it might have been the throwing knives thing. I can't remember, but
There is a bad sewer mission, because there always has to be a bad sewer mission. But aside from that, I can't think of a thing I didn't like about that game.
All right,
There's
worth
so
$10.
much good stuff about that game.
I mean, $10
Okay.
hard to argue with anyway. And
All right.
if you like the trailer for the new one, I'm sure this one leads into it. So, but okay. So Dishonored 2 is $20. A lot of people seem to like that game.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna bite at 20.
I still haven't played through the first one, so and time seems to be fleeting more and more nowadays. So I'm probably gonna hold on this.
Yeah.
But if that enrages you, you can get Rage for $250.
That's another one that's like, just what are you doing? Get it. What do you need
Yeah,
250 for?
you know what? To me, it's almost like it's just the hard drive space at this point, because I remember that game being a real memory hog, wasn't it? Wasn't it like one of the only games on 360 to come out in 2 discs?
It looked like let's take Borderlands seriously, and we're id, so I just didn't buy it.
Yeah, it's one of the only games ever featured on Breaking Bad, where Aaron Paul plays it with a light gun.
Yep.
That was weird.
Is that
I don't
even
know.
possible?
I
They
don't
just-
think so.
probably
For
not. They just-
250, for 250, I will probably end up biting and then just never playing it because that's video games in 2017.
Inside is $12. This was a critical darling last awards season. This is the game by the developers of Limbo, and evidently has a very good kind of story, non-story thing to it.
Was Limbo that black and white platformer with the dead
Mhm.
kid? Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, dude, spoilers.
Oh, come on. That's
The game's like 7 years old at this point, isn't it?
I think it was in the first summer arcade, wasn't it?
It's fucking old. Like,
Yeah.
Also, he's in Limbo. I mean, come on.
Oh, wow. Wow, that's like a Black Mirror revelation for me. Can't believe I never got the title.
okay, 2010 is when it came out, so that's 7 years
Oh,
old at
wow.
this point. So, if you haven't played Limbo, that's on you.
Yeah, Inside looks great. Limbo did not do it for me. The gameplay on this one doesn't look like it's going to do it for me either. But stylistically, it looks phenomenal. So
Yeah,
if that's up your alley, that seems like a good price.
I really liked Limbo. I just didn't want to play another one, which is why I didn't get Inside. I've already kind of spoiled myself on Inside, and maybe someday I'll play it, but not for $12.
Maybe someday you'll get Inside, John. Someday.
So next is Nier Automata for $42. Man, this is such a weird. Like, I'm going to talk about this here in a bit. I really like Nier Automata, but there are a lot of aspects that are bad about it. So it's hard for me to recommend to just the general public at $42. But if you're an anime fan, and if you're
Nope.
maybe, I don't even want to say RPG fan, because it's not really an RPG. Like, it has RPG aspects to it, but not really. So I don't know.
I feel like if you were on the fence about this, you've probably already looked into it enough to know what your price point's going to be.
Yeah, like if you're
For some people, that's going to be $42.
if you're into sad robots that might make you question your existence on Earth, then go ahead and get it. But if you require really good gameplay, then maybe skip it.
Is this anything to do with the Penny Arcade Automata?
It's you guys. I'm going to kill the both of you because it's Automata,
Whatever.
and no, it's unrelated.
Oh, it's
Okay.
Automata?
Automata.
You-
Automata?
The Hamina. It's a Hamina.
Hakuna Matata?
Screw both of you.
Anyway, I'm sorry I made that joke. It wasn't a joke. It was flailing, verbal flailing. So next is Witcher 3 for $25. I hear that's
Witcher
a really
3.
great game. Someday.
Apparently,
I feel
I heard
like
good
that's for the amount of hours you're going to get out of that thing. I feel like you're looking at what 50 cents an hour easy at that price.
Yeah.
And people, I've heard people talking about that might be their favorite game of all time. I've tried 2 of these Witchers already, and I'm 0 for 2 on Witching. I just am not.
Yeah. I'm near
There's-
the
I'd
end
like-
of Witcher 1, so I'm like, I just got to go back and beat it, but I know near the end of Witcher 1 still means like another 10 hours. And I want to at least beat it before I go to another Witcher game.
Witcher came out. The first one came out a long time ago.
I know it's ancient,
Uh-huh.
and it
was
shows.
The first time I ever had to upgrade a power supply because it kept crashing my rig. But yeah, that's the thing. There's nothing wrong with that world. It's a cool world that they've come up with. I just don't like the mechanics of the game. So that's on me. I'm the idiot here. I understand this.
I really dislike juggling swords. But I like the idea that this new Witcher game has a thing that'll just automatically do everything for you, so you can just go through and experience the story.
John, I bought you sword juggling lessons for your birthday. I'm glad that you mentioned.
I'm glad.
You can take him back now. He learned that the hard way when he was a kid.
I'm really glad you
basketball's
bought
not
it
my
like
thing.
half a year early, because that means you still have plenty of time to get a refund. So
Okay, good. I hope so. Or maybe I'll take them myself.
I know, your mother and I want to support you in whatever you want to do with your life, but this just isn't your thing, okay, John?
like
You're gonna get hurt.
I'm a musician. My fingers really don't matter for me. So sword juggling
Right.
lessons
Yeah.
are the perfect gift.
Okay.
Let's see. So, Doom.
I got a Groupon.
I know a guy.
Doom and Fallout 4 are both $15.
That's worth it on both counts.
I think you should prioritize Doom.
You should. You should.
I like Fallout 4 a lot, but people need to remember what fast gaming is like, and that is our modern day example.
Yeah, if you're gonna go for one of those, go for Doom.
I mean, and we're me specifically is probably going to very quickly start getting accused of being a Bethesda fanboy. Just look at this list; it's half Bethesda stuff. But like, yeah, either of those games, probably a good chance that if you haven't played one, you have played the other. So in this case, you're just picking up whatever you didn't have. If you're looking, honestly, I would say get both of them and just play Doom first. Do not, by any circumstances, buy the season pass for Fallout.
It's kind of funny that the season pass for Fallout costs more than Fallout 4 itself.
What's full price for Fallout 4 these days? 30?
30 sounds about right. I could pull up Steam and look, but it would just start downloading all the shit I bought, and we would lose the call. So I cannot do.
Okay. This I cannot do.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the season pass, it was, I think, when the game originally came out, it was a ridiculously expensive season pass. It was like $40 or $50, wasn't it?
It was $30 up until they released the first DLC, and then it became $50. So,
which is insanity for what is basically 2 story packs.
Yeah. So
But like I said, I love their games. I hate their fucking policies.
I look forward to paying $5 or less for each of their pieces of DLC. So, continuing onward. I lost my place. Okay. Torment Tides of Numenera for $22.49.
That's a strange price.
That's
well, it was $45, I think, and they cut it.
So
in
that's
half.
just half off.
Yeah. Basically, everything's half off. Very few things are not just half off. I really like Torment Tides of Numenera. It is very much a book-like game. There's a lot of reading in it, but there are also a lot of variables in terms of how you can progress through the story, who you can get in your party, and what type of character you can become, and the solutions to... Like, you can talk your way through that entire game, for instance.
How far did you get into that game, John?
I got a few hours. They've released a lot of free DLC for Kickstarter people in it since, and I think it's for the regular game too.
Because it's like what, like an 80-hour game, right?
I had read a review that claimed it was only 20 or 30 hours, but I'm pretty sure I played like a good 10 hours of it, and I got nowhere in it. But I'm at some point that before 2017 is over, I am going to start that game again.
All right.
I mean, unless we just, Civil War II happens or something, which is knock on wood. So next is Transistor for $2.99. I really liked Transistor. It had a whole lot of hacking functions that you could kind of equip in different order and get different effects out of, and it was a tactics turn-based type deal by the makers of Bastion. Same soundtrack producer too, and it had kind of this jazzy flair to it. If nothing else, it's worth it for the soundtrack.
Okay.
It was a great game that I didn't put nearly enough time into, and it was the tactics stuff. I really tried, I really did, and I bounced off it because it again really pretty, great art. The soundtrack incredible. It's got a cool style. It's got like that, cyber future kind of thing. Like it's almost like a Tron City sort of thing, but also it's got all this kind of 1930s feel to it. There's a lot of cool pieces of that game, and I just couldn't get through it.
Yeah, you're kind of like hacker, like if Katana from Suicide Squad was a hacker, because your sword seems to absorb souls, but not really. But anyway, so. And I guess they also have movies on sale, too, because Steam sells movies now. You can see in the Oak Blom camp shorts and shit on it, and he wants you to buy tools so you can recut his movies or some shit like that. I don't know.
It just seemed notable that, like, I really thought they were going to give up on this movies thing, but, they're serious about it. That they want to be another place where you can buy movies. I don't know. I mean, right now I'm thinking that this is something we'll laugh at 5 years from now. Like, remember when Steam thought that they were fucking Blockbuster? But when Half-Life 2 came out, I hated Steam and didn't want to get Steam, and now look where we are. So
Yeah.
I thought World of Warcraft was entering a
I remember
saturated
that.
market and wasn't going to do well. You know, I basically buy stock in Steam right now because I just said the movies thing is going to fail.
Well, I mean, who doesn't want to see Tekken, the film?
You know, that film
No,
is
that's
kind of
Taken. That's Taken
No.
with Liam Neeson.
The Tekken film is actually kind of a little bit of dumb fun. I gotta be honest with you.
That looks like it has Tom Selleck in it.
It does not.
Well, that guy looks like Tom Selleck. I'm gonna go ahead and pretend like that's Tom Selleck.
No, it has.
Don't ruin this for
Tom
me, John.
Selleck, with Tom Selleck as Heihachi.
Okay, you remember when Batman broke that one guy's leg and he was only in the movie for like a couple minutes, and it was either in.
Yeah. He's the gangster guy.
Yeah, like that guy is in it.
Oh. Well, that's not Tom Selleck.
No, but he wears glasses, sunglasses,
Why did you tell me
That-
he was Tom Selleck?
that show him the moves of his opponents. So it makes him a better fighter.
That makes him a goddamn cheater. They need to kick him out of
Yeah.
the tournament.
It's
Exactly.
what is this guy's name? Oh God, like Bamfcast loves this guy, and I can't remember his fucking name. That sucks.
He sounds like a real Yoshi Shih Tzu. I don't know. Moving on. So Netflix is doing this sort of weird choose-your-own-adventure style programming. Have you guys read anything about this?
No, but it sounds like it could be cool.
As of right now, I think there's only the one thing, which is stars Puss in Boots from Shrek,
Hmm.
who is not Antonio Banderas anymore, but the guy who does his voice, pretty good impression. Anyway, I sat down and watched it today because I wanted to see what it was like, and I don't know that
Okay.
I watch Netflix in order to be in front of the TV with the controller in my hand.
But a kid might.
I think it's really going to work for kids, though.
Kids get super engaged in movies, man.
Hey, quick, John was full of shit. I was thinking of the Dead or Alive movie, not Tekken.
I didn't. I was going to say I didn't even know there was a Tekken
I
movie.
told you it was Tom Selleck.
Vengeance is ours.
Anyway, I'm sorry. Continue on.
To me, Netflix is not something where I go, oh, good, I'm going to sit in front of the couch and just watch this intently. Netflix is I'm doing something else with this on thing. But, this first one, they sort of really had to kind of... Puss stares at the screen and is like, look, you're going to make decisions here. And, like, at every decision, he's like, I would do this, but if you want, you could do this. And it actually pops up a little... picture of the PlayStation controller, or I'm sure Xbox
Yeah.
controller, and it's so they're really kind of slapping you in the face with like, look, dumb shit, this is how this works.
Well, that's how you got to get kids to do stuff.
But I think as people become used to doing that kind of stuff, and it maybe becomes more seamless, I think there's a lot of cool things they could do with it. I know that on YouTube, Many a True Nerd, who is one of my favorite dudes to watch, he put together a Fallout New Vegas Choose Your Own Adventure series on YouTube, using like the annotations and stuff. So he would do like a 2-minute episode and then be like, well, you could do this, and he click one annotation, and then it goes to another video that he made where you did that.
Yeah.
And God, it must have taken him forever because he was making it all in-engine in the game.
It's pretty creative.
It was very cool. You should check that out if you get a chance. You can burn through it pretty quick.
All I can think about now is choose your own adventure porn.
Is that a thing?
So I'll see you guys. No, it should be if it's not.
I've got an investment opportunity for you.
I'll see you guys on my yacht.
It's a choose your own dildo. Speaking of dildos, Better Call Saul season 3. What's the verdict, Randy? Is it
That's
full of
excellent.
dildos?
No, there's not a single dildo. You could consider his brother a bit of a dildo, but
He's
Anyway.
dildesk.
He's Deal Desk. I'm not sure if any. Have you guys watched any of season 1 or 2?
I've seen season 1, so I'm aware his brother thinks he's allergic to electricity, which is...
Yeah, he's got
I've seen
this
1 and 2,
psychosomatic thing.
where it
Okay.
seems like his brother is also allergic to head trauma.
I think we all are. That's pretty regular. But I mean, it's
I have a cranial trauma allergy.
season 3.
Medical
I don't.
excellent.
They hinted at it very strongly, so I'm not even going to consider this a spoiler. Season 3 introduces Gus. They bring him back in. The acting is just excellent. The pacing is excellent. It's compelling. There's not like a wasted moment. You know what I mean? You're never looking at your watch thinking, "Boy, when is this shit going to be over?"
They had some wasted moments in those first couple of seasons. You're saying those are gone?
You thought so? I mean, I thought so. It could just be that I'm a huge fan. I can't think of any.
So do you think, like, I really enjoyed the first season. I thought the flashback moments were kind of weird, but also kind of interesting. It's
mean like Mike's
the
backstory
flash
and all that?
forward things, where like it's him sitting in his new identity after Walter White
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
I want more
The-
of that, but like by its nature, it's got to be boring,
There's
right?
Yeah.
the third season opens with a longer one with
Okay.
some actual dialogue, but it's not very long.
Well, and I like the Mike stuff. I would be excited to see Gus back. Part of me also wonders, like, how quickly is the story advancing? Like, if this show is
Well-
popular enough, are we going to see Walter White guest star?
I doubt that.
Well,
Just because at a certain point they're going to be too old to believably play younger versions of themselves.
and
but
we've already seen every interaction that him and Slip and Jimmy had.
Well,
Like,
right, but like those interactions could be a lot more interesting if we saw whatever was happening in Slipping Jimmy's life at that moment, right? Like, you saw it from Walter White's perspective previously. Now, what if Slippin' Jimmy's going about his day and all of a sudden this fucking teacher comes in trying to sell him fucking meth? Like, or get a lawyer to protect him by selling meth. Like, there could be a lot of interesting
I actually
behind-the-scenes
watched.
aspects behind
I
that.
watched the episode of Breaking Bad where they introduced Saul a couple days ago, and he mentioned there are a couple things he mentioned that harken to the series. I'm sure that's deliberate, like back work.
I could see them ending the series with like him being outside the school, like after school when Walter was in the classroom. I think he had to throw his cell phone up in the ceiling or something. Like I could see them ending the series with Saul in the parking lot of the school or something like that.
Maybe. But anyway, you were talking about, like, it seemed like you were kind of getting at what's the timeline here. I think Breaking Bad is supposed to start in 2008. If you go off, like, the unofficial sort of character bios that are around, Walter White was born in 58, and it starts on his 50th birthday, so there you go, 2008. But they explicitly gave a year on the final episode of this season, and it's in 2003.
Wait, what?
The final episode, and I'm going to assume most of the season because there's no big time jumps. Takes place in
On
2000.
this season of Better Call Saul. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying like Breaking Bad ended in
No.
2003. I was like, how? No? Okay.
Breaking Bad takes place over 2 years. So I'm going to assume, because Breaking Bad, the whole series, takes place over 5 years, or it takes place over 2 calendar years. So they're not, they don't do their seasons like a calendar year like a lot of shows do. So I would imagine that it's only been a year, 2 tops for this Better Call Saul run so far. But at any rate, this season ended and it's 2003. They explicitly said it. So,
Okay.
so they're still a few years away. They're a good
So they'd
5 or
have to
6
go-
from him
Yeah, they'd have to go a long ways to get there. Okay.
meeting Walter White, and I don't think they're going to run this show for 5 or 6 more seasons.
Yeah.
So
They shouldn't. They
I'd be-
absolutely shouldn't.
unless they could do a big time jump.
Yeah.
That's what I think is more likely. You know, he sets up the gimmicky, ambulance chaser setup,
Well, and this is
and then Kim tells him to fuck off, and then they jump ahead 2 years in time.
well, this season is where he starts being Saul publicly, but it's not as an attorney, and that's all I'll say.
Okay.
But he starts. This is where he actually
He's
puts
as a
himself
clown
out in the
doing
public eye
birthday
as
parties.
Saul. I'm not going to say anything.
Okay.
because it's new enough. But yeah, it's great. Definitely worth a watch. And again, maybe in a few months we can go back and talk about it with spoilers, but I don't want to do that right now.
I feel like once it hits Netflix, we can like give it one episode after it hits Netflix to let everyone catch up. I think.
Yeah. Anyway, it was real good.
Speaking of Netflix, F is for Family Season 2 is out now. John, you said you watched a couple episodes. Randy, do you watch this one at all?
No, but I like Bill Burr.
Yeah.
How far in are you, John?
Not very far. The last episode I watched, he thought he had his job back at the airport and was wrong. Minor spoiler, you kind of saw it coming.
It's animated, right?
Yeah.
It is, and it looks kind of, the animation looks a lot like BoJack.
Sure.
Sort of that quality. Obviously, there's no, and by then I mean the quality of the animation, not like the drawings actually look like people. Because there's some really weird, iffy
aesthetic
animals.
is a better word than equality. That's that aesthetic.
Well, no, because it's not that. It's the actual animation, the way people move and talk and stuff. Because I would say the aesthetics are a lot more. This is stupid to say. A lot more realistic in F is for Family than BoJack Horseman. But look at BoJack. Like, come on.
Horse people.
It's good. You know, I'm starting to kind of understand how I need to come at these Netflix animated series. Because they get these really funny comedians, and then there's no, like, super laugh-out-loud funny moments. You know, you think you're going to get Arrested Development because they got Will Arnett, and it ain't fucking Arrested Development. And it's kind of the same thing here. You know, Bill Burr is playing a dad who just fucking, he's miserable. He's just always miserable and angry. Mm-hmm. And it's like The Simpsons meets Roseanne. Because, like, there's always this underpinning of, like, Jesus, this is really fucking depressing.
Yeah.
But there's some pretty cool stuff that happens this season, especially with the kids. The boys in particular both have some pretty interesting story arcs. Their character goes through meaningful change, I will say. It's different for each of the kids, but
the masturbation thing was kind of funny. I'll give it that. I hope that pays off.
Yep. That both those arcs are very satisfying. Frank's arc is satisfying. That's the guy Bill Burr plays. The wife, who's played by Laura Dern, and I forget her name. Like, everyone kind of has a pretty good story arc, except for, like, the daughter. They start something, and I think it's just kind of maybe going to pay off. Maybe going to pay off next season. But it's good. I liked it. Speaking of Fs, I hear you finished Nier Automata.
I did. I finished it 3 times, to be precise. Actually, 4 times.
Whoa.
So this game has 26 endings. The main ones you need to get are basically 3 of them, and like there's a 4th one, but my understanding is it's just a credit roll that you play through, and some things happen. Like I read about it, and I'm like, I really don't need to do that right now. I'm gonna maybe dick around in some of these other endings first. So the first time you play through the game, you play through as okay. So set up for the world, and let's rewind to that, right? So all humanity seems to be dead except for a faction on the moon that you never interact with. But
They're Nazis.
But that you allegedly work for. So you play the android 2B, and the androids are at war with the machines who occupy Earth. And the androids' goal are to wipe away the machines on Earth so that humanity can come back to Earth. You have a sidekick, 9S, and the first time you play through the game, you play through as 2B. The second time, you play through as, well, I guess, spoiler, but this is not a major spoiler. This will not ruin the game. This is just to tell you to replay the game. You'll play through as 9S. And
oh yeah, I played the demo of the game, and I just picked that up sort of as part of the zeitgeist.
Well, and you get, I mean, largely about 75% of the playthrough as 9S is you're going through the same events in a completely different way. and it's it's part of it's gameplay wise, and part of it's the level you are going through is completely different because you're taking 9S's path.
And how does he play differently?
So 2B is a fighter, right? Both your attack buttons are weapons. 9S has one melee weapon, and then he has a hacking button. The hacking games are bullet hells. So just accept, if you're going to play this game, that you have to get... it's a fairly forgiving bullet hell, I gather, because I'm horrible at bullet hells and I managed to get through it. And you aren't really punished for failing the hacking sequences so much. Like, you get a little bit of damage and you're momentarily phased, but that never... I never died from that. I never even came close to dying from that. It was just annoying because I had to start the hacking sequence over again.
Okay.
The hacking thing, it moves to a real basic graphic interface type deal, but it's neat because the music that is playing in the background by an orchestra is suddenly like this, not quite as low grade as like a chiptune song, but it very much turns into like kind of a chiptune type of thing.
I like that.
And it's a really smooth transition, and they do it with nearly everything in the game. Like the choirs, they don't really do it with, so you won't notice it as much, but it's a cool touch. Like, they have a lot of neat touches like that. I talked a lot of shit on the gameplay on Nier Automata. I will say that, as you level up, well, less that you level up, more that the equipment in the game is you equipping programs in your whatever registry or whatnot, right? And as you get better programs, you'll get things that'll let you hit a guy and gain 3 health, or hey, if you don't get hit for 8 seconds and you gain some health, kind of thing. And as you get that stuff, the game becomes a lot more playable, a lot easier to deal with, and you stop minding the action in it,
I can't get over that if you play the game enough, eventually the game becomes tolerable to play because you can ignore the game.
Well, this will be in the first playthrough that happens. It will. Your first playthrough will take you about 20 hours. The second playthrough will probably take you about 10. And then the third playthrough is something completely different, and that'll take about 5 or 6 or something like that. But it is a massively depressing game. Everything is bad and always will be bad.
Everything is bad.
This is it's a super deep game. It is layered as fuck. The things that... okay, whereas when you beat Mass Effect 3, the more, logic you applied to it, the more you're everyone's fucking dead by this choice, on the original ending kind of thing.
Right.
Whereas Nier Automata, the more logic you apply to it, the more you're holy shit, that's why they said this. Or holy shit, that's what this was saying early on in the game. Or, you kind of discover other characters' motives. The end of the game redefines the entire first playthrough. And you may not even realize it because the first playthrough is such an action-oriented, almost shallow playthrough that you might not have absorbed a lot of the things that 2B was saying or how she was reacting. But I was listening to part of what pointed that out to me was Waypoint's spoiler cast, but I'm willing to bet I could go replay 2B's playthrough because after you beat it 3 times you unlock a chapter select and a replay thing, so I'm pretty sure I could make it through the whole game in 5 hours, tops, with all my leveled up shit as 2B. And I'm pretty sure all the moments in that game would be wow, there are several more layers to the interactions going on here. It's a super deep game. If you like your story, I highly recommend this game. And if just another slight spoiler warning, if you do ending E, it will delete your save and everything on your drive for the game.
That's not a spoiler.
That's also a warning. That's why I haven't done that ending yet.
That's a warning.
Doesn't it make it exceedingly clear to you that that's what it's going to do, though?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, that's what I've heard. I don't know. I'm not gonna do it until I'm ready to do it. Like
Don't spoil why that is an option.
Okay.
I don't know about ending Y. I haven't played ending Y. Ending E, don't explain the conceit behind it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they do make it pretty clear. Like, yo, dude, I hope you're ready to pretend like this is a new game, cause
Yeah. And I just want to get through a few more things. Like the weapons you get in that game, you can upgrade, and then you have to you basically have to go to the Dark Souls level, like the castle level, where all these soldiers are defending their dead king kind of thing. And in that level, you can find a blacksmith, who's the only blacksmith in the game who can level up your weapons to level 4. But like as you level up the weapons, they unlock little story bits for each weapon because all the androids' memories are contained in weapons. So you get and like
this is very Dark Souls.
Like make no mistake, every single side story will be completely depressing. And I don't mean like depressing in that shallow whatever way, like that oh, this person killed themselves at the end and got, like whatever, something like that. I mean depressing as in like, okay, great, this guy fixed an android so he could have a daughter-type companion, and then later on you get a message from base
Like Small Wonder.
that just says they were randomly killed, like or like their corpses were found, like kind of thing. Like, but there's like
does an android leave a corpse?
Even that I make sound shallow. Like the androids are very emotional, and they have a lot of conflicts over. Because like as an android, like when you save, you're copying your android's memory to the android mainframe, right?
Cloud.
Yeah. So
you're going to the literal cloud.
If you don't get an opportunity to do that, like the characters in the game have a lot of kind of come to terms moments with, am I really still the same person if I've lost this memory chunk kind of thing? Like
yeah, it's like on Star Trek, whenever they beam down, they're dead. So like Kirk's died how many times, right?
Like if they actually
transporters
that,
are a holocaust.
But like anyway, the game's really good. It's there's a lot to criticize.
I'm sorry,
about
Randy.
it.
Did you just say it was a transporter holocaust?
I said the transporters are a holocaust.
Okay, all right. Sorry, go ahead, John.
How many millions of people have died in teleporters?
Yeah.
All day, every day. Nobody blinks an eye.
There. So, in other game news, as I'm sure if you followed me on Twitter, I've been playing Avengers Academy. I've spent a lot of money in Avengers Academy.
So how many followers do you still have on Twitter now, then, John?
It's not like I post about it a lot, but like, and me and Boston usually talk about it on the break on TVGP. But today I just said, I'm done with this game and deleted it. Avengers Academy, if you haven't played it, is made by the Family Guy game guys, TinyCo. It is one of those tap on this character to do X thing for this amount of real time, so you can get this item to buy another character type thing. And I really liked a lot of the humor they threw in the storyline, even if it was barely a game. And I've sunk a lot of money into it, but this last event was just so bad, and I'm so tired of having an app that I have to check into 3 times a fucking day to get a goddamn character. And the entire, like, marketing strategy inside the game is not let's create more paying players, it's let's make our paying players pay more to get the things they're already used to getting.
Shell it out.
Yeah. So I'm like last event I spent I think $20, maybe $30 or something like that. This event I didn't spend any, and I'm done. I don't care anymore. They didn't put any effort into this event. Maybe I will come back. Like Gibbinator tweeted me on Twitter and said I'd come back when the X-Men happened, and he's probably right. I probably would totally come back when the X-Men happened, but I don't want a fucking second job, and like having something you have to check into every 4 hours is a second job, and so
it's like literally like you're going back to school.
Yeah, it's a bunch of bullshit. So I'm done with it.
It's on the back of the box.
Fuck that
Avengers
game.
Academy.
Fuck
a bunch
TinyCo.
of bullshit.
Tadiko, I hope you find a way. Well, no, I hope you don't sleep at night. I hope you burn in hell because you are horrible people. And I hate. Like, I guess I'm slightly angry about it just because the humor in it for me is really enjoyable, and seeing these characters reimagined as high school irresponsible crazy people is kind of fun. But the quote unquote game, which is more of a gambling sin, is not, it's not fun at all. So anyway.
Well, if you like teenage superhero teams in high school, I have got a Spider-Man cartoon you should watch. I think you're gonna love it, John. It's got Iron Fist in it. You love him? Okay. Orange is the New Black, Season 5 is out now. Are either of you guys into this series at all? Feel like neither of you are.
I watched
Nah, I
like
haven't
2
watched it.
episodes, and I'm like, I'm not enjoying this. I have a friend who really likes it. I would rather not bring her down from her high by watching it further and deciding I hate it or something.
Bitching about it, yeah.
Well, you know, it was a slow burn for me too. It took probably maybe 4 episodes for me to kind of get into it. It does not start strong, and I think it might be about time for them to wrap it up. I want to say like maybe 4 or 5 episodes into this season, and boy, it sort of has kind of lost its focus. I don't really know what's going on here.
It seems, I mean, granted I haven't watched it, but it seems like it's just kind of running on fumes, coasting on its own popularity, sort of thing.
See, but, yeah. I mean, I'll have to go back and watch Season 4 again, because there's some people that are real fucked up at the beginning of Season 5, and I forget how they got all fucked up. So I'll have to go back and watch that. I don't feel like there's anything in any of these 4 episodes where I was like, you know what? I'm glad I watched that. I'm glad I spent an hour of my time doing that. And I don't... Yeah, it's a bummer. So I'm gonna finish it just out of habit, but this may or may not be my last season with it. It may be time for me to finally do, the 1 free month of HBO Go and just burn through however many series of Game of Thrones there already are.
Hey,
Yeah.
American Gods finished recently, so I'm going to try out that free week of Stars soon to watch that on
Yep,
Amazon.
you got that.
I've heard
Westworld's
rave
a thing now.
reviews. That's HBO, right?
Westworld is.
Yeah.
Yeah, Westworld, yeah.
Okay, so this shit's gonna feel like it's out of nowhere because in a sense it is. I'm just kind of burned out on video games right now. Just with the whole week of E3 and just like I don't want to play anything. So I've been watching a lot of movies, and I saw that Dreamcatcher was on Netflix. Did you guys ever watch that one? It's based on the Stephen King novel.
I have no idea.
Mm-mm.
I feel like I watched a lot of Stephen King movies, and I don't remember most of them.
Okay. Well, this is not his best writing. It is a very silly concept, and it's got a lot of aliens in it and shit weasels and fart jokes. It's very, very weird, and it's not his best concept. But it's a very good movie because of the actors they got. And it's really well shot and stuff too, and there's by and large pretty good CG. Especially for the first hour and 45 minutes. Towards the end, it kind of goes off the rails a little. But even the kids, because it's a Stephen King movie, so of course there are flashbacks to Derry. Everyone manages to make these kind of awful lines work. They're on a steam in the last 20 minutes, but there's only so much you can ask of them. But here's some of the actors that are in it. You got Morgan Freeman, Thomas Jane, Damian Lewis, who's the redheaded guy from Band of Brothers, is probably where you know him from.
Oh, Captain Winters.
Cam Winters, Timothy Olyphant, Tom Sizemore, and Donnie Wahlberg is in it, but you'd never recognize him because he's got so much makeup on.
Also in Band of Brothers.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so basically Dreamcatcher is Band of Brothers with aliens, is what I'm trying to get across.
Sizemore was in Black Hawk Down. Not Band of Brothers, though.
Nope. So it's good. And then, so you know what? It's on Netflix. Give it a watch. Oh, and Jason, did I say Jason Lee? Jason Lee was in it, too.
You did not say Jason Lee.
There's an ass ton of people in this movie.
Ass ton.
Ass ton. And then I know I've talked about Stakeland before, although I don't think you guys either remember. Either of
I
you remember
totally
me
thought
talking
that
about
said Skateland.
Skateland. It's super sweet, bro.
Steak.
Stakeland. It's a zombie movie. I mean, really, it's a zombie movie with vampires. And the second one is out. Stakeland, the first one, I want to say it's like a 4 or 5 year old movie, and it pops up on Netflix from time to time, and it's kind of a zombie road trip movie with vampires instead. And sometimes vampire movies work better as smart zombie, movies where the zombies are smart, instead of decadent douchebag movies where it's Interview with the Vampire and they're dressed up all frilly and whatnot. It's a cross country after the world has ended road trip movie, and it's very cool. There's a lot of good twists and there's a lot of cool concepts. They use vampire teeth, like the canines. They use them as currency, which is kind of cool. And it takes itself seriously, but not so seriously that you have to laugh at it. Anyway, the second one is out, and there was sort of a father-son relationship in the first movie, and here they changed that up a little bit, and it's real good. There's sort of a vengeance thing, like certain characters are just out for revenge, but it's not like a hokey. It's not like your hokey revenge story. It's actually nuanced, and you really like these characters. So anyway, Stakeland and Stakeland 2 are both on Netflix right now. Okay. You do absolutely need to watch the first one first. This is not one where you can just jump in. This is not Rocky. This is not Transformers. Like these are definitely sequential, so be sure to watch them in order.
Okay.
Well, that wraps up our show.
It does.
So be sure and email us at carouselpodcast@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter at carouselpodcast. Go to the website, thecarouselpodcast.com. Buy my music at MusiM.bandcamp.com. Rate and review us on iTunes. It helps other people find us. So if you enjoyed it, then it's a real easy way to share with people without actually sharing with them. So, Randy, thank you for joining us. Where can we find you?
Yeah, not a problem. OSU Cobra on Twitter and Gifts of Men on PS4.
And Jake, thank you for joining us. We don't give a shit where we can find you.
I'm slowly scrubbing myself from the internet. So.
Yeah. It always makes it awkward for me being like, so Randy, tell me about your day
all
and
these
your
places
life
people can
and
find you.
all these great places. And Jake, you don't do fucking shit. So let's. No.
Jake, we'll see you next episode. I think that's how you should end that.
Yeah. But
all right then.
Okay, I'll quit. Well, no, I won't quit being a douche. I'll always be a douche. But it is what it is. So thank you everyone for joining us, and we'll see you next turn.
Bye.
Okay, titles. I started out writing a bunch of stuff and then stopped.
Yeah, you read these. You know what, Randy, read them off.
All right, let's see. You know what? That's fine. I don't think that's a title. I think John just typed that.
What was that from?
Randy said that at the beginning. He goes, you know what? That's fine. And I can't remember. It was in response to something, and I found it funny at the time.
Oh, you confused Christian Slater and Corey Feldman.
Yeah.
Hobo fighting game. If Eve were fun.
That's all right.
Go place, fight space.
That's the current front runner.
Unending commitment.
Okay.
If you're into sad robots, ellipsis. Sword juggling lessons. Cranial trauma allergies. A forgiving hell. Does an android leave a corpse?
I mean, there's a couple of good ones that were funny bits, but I feel like there's only one answer here.
I mean, it's either If Eve Were Fun or Go Place, Fight Space. That one's really strong. Go Place, Fight Space.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's the winner.
Good.
Go Place, Fight Space.
Cool.
Okay. Thank you, everyone, for joining us live, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Yep.
Bye.